I'm your host and medium, Angela McClellan. Welcome to a special series here on Divinely Connected Podcast, where we will be featuring one-on-one readings connecting my listeners, just like you, with their departed loved ones. In each session, I extend a sacred connection where messages from the other side can be received, understood, and cherished. I believe that every encounter is divinely led, and through these intimate connections, not only do we open the door for messages from the other side, but we also invite healing into our heart. Each session serves as a reminder that our loved ones are still with us, guiding us, and offering their unconditional love from beyond what our eyes can see. Join me as we embark a journey of reunion, connection, and healing, where the bonds of love transcend the physical realm. Through Divinely Connected readings, we'll bridge the gap between here and beyond, offering solace, closure, and the comfort of knowing that your loved ones are still with you. I am Angela McClellan, your host and medium, here to reunite you with those who you miss the most. Welcome to the Divinely Connected Podcast. Terri was the first person to receive a message from my most recent Messages from Spirit online experience, and her mother and her son did not disappoint. You could feel the shock and the healing through Terri's messages, and I just absolutely love them. Her mother came through bringing her son forth. Spirit always knows what it is that we need. And they also know how we are going to react to such an experience. And so there was a lot of anticipation and anxiety built in Terri to hear from her son. And her mother understood the assignment. She knew. So she wanted to come forth first, say, I'm here, stepdad's here, I have the son here. I'm going to start first and bring through a few messages so that Terri can settle down into herself so that she's in a centered place to receive the messages. And this is what I mean when Spirit knows what we need, and they will always bring through what they feel we need versus what we want. Because I'm sure that Terri came into this session really, really wanting to hear from her son, not realizing how deeply she needed to hear from mom too, and to validate and bring through the security that they are together. And it's just absolutely amazing. I had goosebumps from head to toe. I hope that you tune in. And if you're interested in joining us on a Zoom event, you can head over to my website at angelamcclellan.com. Look under the upcoming events to see when my next online experience is. Enjoy. Okay, so I have the mother. Okay, I'm going to start with the mother figure coming forward. It's interesting because she also wants to acknowledge the birthday. And I keep hearing happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you. And so there is a recent birthday. I do go back a month ahead of month, but because she's so strong singing happy birthday, I would say that it's closer in the timeline there. She's acknowledging the sun energy. And this could be your son. This could be her son. That would be in spirit. So bringing through the birthday and bringing through the sun energy as well. There's also a father figure there as well because the male came back and stepped next to her. Okay. And there's something with the closing over of the throat. So not being able to say goodbye, didn't get to say what it is that I needed to say, unsure if she heard me. I'm just looking at Terri here. I see in the comments that her son isn't her. You lost your son. Where's Terri at?
That's me.
Okay, because I do feel like the sun energy is in spirit. Okay, so your mother's passed, your son is passed.
Mm-hmm.
And then who would be the father figure for you on the other side?
My stepdad.
Okay. So know that this is their way. Was your son passed tragically?
Well, I wouldn't say it was tragically. It wasn't a car accident. He It was an accident, and he died from like an overdose
Yeah.
of
Okay.
alcohol and sleeping pills.
Okay. Because he takes responsibility for the choices that he made, but did not give me my sign and symbol for suicide.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
means like there was not the intention. When they close over my throat chakra, that means that I didn't get to say goodbye. So it means lack of communication. It also is my sign and symbol for overdose.
Okay.
Okay. And so this is just his way. And it's so interesting how, oh, do you hear from them all the time? Because they're like, oh, she talks to us all the time. It's
I do.
fine, Angela.
I do.
Good. So wanting just to bring through like exhale because one, your mother came forward first
Wow.
and brought everyone forward to one, let you know that they're all together. To two, she makes me feel like to ease you in because we want to hear from your son. We need to hear from your son, but your mom needs you to know like she got this is how she's handling it. Okay.
Nice.
She also shows me, it's interesting because she just showed me a lily and a daisy. And so, do you connect to the flowers? Do you have wildflowers by? Did you just lay flowers?
Oh, I created a whole boulevard garden in front of my house. It's a pollinator garden. And
Amazing.
okay,
I have the
so
goosebumps like crazy.
oh
Okay.
my gosh.
So, this is her way of validating that she knows what you're doing with your life.
Okay.
Okay. Now, when she goes like this to me, which means that there's been times where you had struggles with mom, or maybe there was times where we weren't as close, or we wish that we had more
Hmm.
communication looking back. Her not
Hmm.
wanting you to hold any woulda, shoulda, couldas, or carry responsibility for that relationship and that dynamic. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
She was I was a little set in my ways. And I was like, okay.
Oh,
She's like,
she
I
was
couldn't
funny.
admit that when I was here.
That sounds just like her.
Right? I love it. I
Oh
love it.
yeah.
And so it
Yeah.
is important for you to know that she understands. And I'll tell you a few things. She talks very fast. She talks very fast for one. You're in this major shift. You're in this major like spiritual awakening. Okay.
Hmm.
And so
Hmm.
there's things now that you look back and you may go, I didn't really deserve that in my life. Or, maybe I wish that I was treated differently or treated better. Don't feel guilty for feeling that or recognizing that or seeing mom and dad's limitations or saying, geez, I wish that they would have loved me a different way or parented me a different way or whatever it is, right? Because
Okay.
there is this feeling of you're kind of seeing things in a new way because you're completely transforming. And then you feel guilty because maybe it's not all love and hugs, right? But that's okay. Mom doesn't want you to feel, she's like, I did the best that I could with where I was at. And that's the truth. And so and it's okay if that didn't quite meet the bar because your mom is like I don't want to say surface, but like you're very deep. You're very sensitive. You feel things in a deep way. Not her,
Wow.
not so much. Right. And so
That's
I
true.
love, right. And
Yeah.
so when they show me this meme, I think it was like an Oprah clip, not to be honest, spirit will always communicate with me in my own frame of reference. Okay.
Hmm.
And so when they show me that clip of this man that was on Oprah who was saying, there's 2 gallon people and there's 10 gallon people, right? You're a 10 gallon person and mom's a 2 gallon
That's funny.
person. And even if she gives you all 2 gallons of her, she's still 8 gallons short.
Oh my
Right.
God.
And so this is her way of saying, I get it. And it's okay to feel the way that you're feeling. Don't feel like it's upsetting her or it's preventing her from being at peace or it's preventing her from, oh, she's so funny. She's like, who do you think is fucking helping her heal? She's like, who do you think is helping
That's
her
her.
on this spiritual awakening?
My God. Oh my God.
Okay. So, really just
Awesome.
wanting you to know that everything that's coming up is exactly what's meant to come up to help you heal.
Okay.
Okay.
That's
And so that's
beautiful.
really important. Okay. Um, there is so many what ifs, what ifs with your son. And he goes, and for that, I am so sorry. What if I would have been there? What if I would have called? What if this would have happened? What if I would have checked it? Right? And he also says, I'm also set in my ways, Angela. I only did what I wanted to do. And I thought I was invincible. Okay. And so it is important for you to know that he takes responsibility and wants you. And he keeps bringing me to another female. So I don't know if this is a sister or a partner for him or who the female, and that's a contemporary for him would be. That with the woulda, shoulda, couldas. Okay. Not wanting us to feel responsible for or as though they could have prevented. Okay. Um, how do you connect to the tattoo?
The
Do you have the
tattoo.
tattoo for do you have a tattoo for your son?
I do.
Good.
Yeah, that
Good. Amazing. I
there.
love it.
My
Because he
dragonfly.
goes, this is overwhelming, mom. She needs to know this is real.
Oh my God.
um, so know that this
Beautiful.
is his way. So this is what I said in the beginning of the reading. They will bring through something. I could be talking in a tangent in another way, but they'll anchor it and validate like this is real because I know the tattoo is real.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Beautiful.
And
Okay.
so, and again, just wanting
Awesome.
to make sure that you know that he is safe and that he is okay.
Good.
Okay. Um, his dad is living.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't know how to say that. Where does the strain come in? Is that between him and his
Oh,
dad or with you and his dad or both?
between both, with both
Okay.
relationships. Yes. Yes.
Because he also says as well, like, how do I say that? He's having a really hard time
Hmm.
understanding and coming to grasps, right? And so he doesn't want to. It's so interesting because it's like I can hear them apologize to each other. And so he's saying, I'm sorry,
Oh,
dad. And dad's saying, I'm sorry, son.
yes.
Okay. And so it is
Nice.
important for that to know that that is heard and that that healing has taken place. And so it's
Okay.
okay to move past that. Okay.
I'll pass that on for sure.
Good. Good.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Um, okay, that's so funny. Is there a stuffy, like a plush toy?
Yes, it's sitting beside me. Nick gave it to me. Yeah. About
Amazing.
3 months before he passed. Yeah.
Perfect. So know that this is his
Wow.
way of validating the dad message along with knowing of the ways because I can't see that. I can't see that in this in the view here. Validating that his soul is safe and that he is with you. Okay?
Beautiful.
He
Yeah.
says that mom feels me and I could feel him brushing by me.
Wow.
Okay? And so
Wow.
know that when you feel that breeze or you feel like somebody walked by or you feel like somebody's standing behind you, that that is your son letting you know that he's there. Okay?
Oh,
Because he just said a lot of doing these Zooms, the beginning opening spiel that I had was at least 3 times longer than I normally do. Right. And he goes,
okay.
she's the one that needs to know that everything that she's feeling and sensing is real because you get a lot of it. And because it's coming in too frequently, you're questioning it. Am I making it up?
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
That makes sense.
So, really needing you to know that that is really him and that your own intuitive abilities are real, that is not wishful thinking.
Okay. Well, that makes me
Okay.
feel good. Makes me
Good.
feel better. Good.
Good. Is your son cremated?
Yes.
Okay. Because he is he not in his final resting place? Like, is he home? Like, do we have a plaque, but then he's home? Uh,
He's at home right now
Okay.
for the time being. Mhm.
But is there also like a graveyard spot for him?
It hasn't been finally decided
Okay.
because his dad couldn't agree with me.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
Okay. So he wants to acknowledge that and validate that because he shows me that like my sign symbol for a graveyard, but he goes, but I'm not there. I'm in the house. I was like, okay. And
Oh,
so it is important for you to know that what is decided, not decided, does not affect him on the other side.
okay.
Okay. And
Hmm.
what Spirit has taught me to recommend is that wherever we decide are places for them that we feel connected is where it is. Right. And
Hmm.
so some people
Hmm.
like to go to the graveyard, some people don't. I have a client who lost her daughter. She has this chair in her living room. Nobody knows, but when she sits in the chair, she feels close to her daughter, and that's where she goes to talk to her, right?
I see.
And so we
I
get to
see.
choose by setting the intention of when I sit in my flower garden, when I sit on my bench, when I sit under the tree, whatever it is, know and
Okay.
that's where I go for you, and they will meet you there every single time.
Okay.
Okay. How do you
Beautiful.
connect to Toronto or Ontario?
Toronto. I have a sister in Toronto.
Okay. So him validating that by bringing through a connection to Toronto.
Okay.
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 I also wouldn't be surprised if there's a little travel coming in for you because he just wants to validate the travel.
Yes.
Okay. And so him again letting
That's
you
awesome.
know that you're on the right path and where you go, he goes. You're not leaving him behind. He goes where you go. So know that he's really excited because this is something that makes me feel like it's been a long time for you to allow yourself to do this or let
Okay.
yourself go there. And know that this is exactly what is right for you and that he couldn't be happier and more proud of you. Because she goes, she thinks that her life is falling apart, but really, Angela, it's being rebuilt. And he wants you to see it as that.
Oh,
Okay. Yes, it all fell apart, but that is so that you can rebuild it and know that he's your number one angel that is helping you moving forward. Okay. And that your mother stands right behind him because she's like pushing him forward. She's like, I'm supporting too. Got to give Ma her call out. But it is important for
great.
you to know that they are together. And this is what I always say as well.
Okay.
Whoever is the loudest communicator is who gets through the most, but heaven
Okay.
is one room. And so, whoever it is that you're here, if you're getting all your signs and symbols from your son, know that Ma's there, know that stepdad's there,
Right.
everyone's there. But
Okay.
whoever is going to get through is who they're going to go, okay, you get through because she gets your signs and symbols. She can feel you. You
Okay.
communicate for all of
Oh,
us.
I love it.
Okay. And
Mm,
so, just keeping that in mind moving forward. Okay. Do you do
mm.
cards and stuff? Do you do like tarot cards or pull cards?
No,
You
no, I
should.
don't do this.
You
Yeah.
should.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be something that would come very natural for you, and it's also would be a great way for connection. Um, how they're showing it to me is intuitively, it comes in fast and quick and congested for you. And so for you, a card will help kind of go, oh, this thought's going to come through first. Oh, and this thought is going to come through next. So the cards can help
Okay.
you kind of just organize what's coming through. Okay.
Hmm.
Also wanting
Okay.
to just validate as well. I mean, he's so funny because he just made me smell his cologne and he was just like, I always smelled sexy and
Okay.
but in that sense as well, like you may smell him, but then you may hear his voice in your head, right? Know that that's real. Or you have these hypothetical conversations. I would say this, he would say that. I would say this, mom would say
Yes.
that. That is literally them talking to you. We just don't know that as humans.
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Good
And
to
so
know.
it is important for you to validate that and be like, okay, I hear you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank
Mm-hmm.
you. Right. And so and even with he says as well with the dreams. Because I think as humans, we go, oh, the only way they can visit us is through our dreams. But then we may
Mm-hmm.
have the dream and it may not really look like them. Or it may be them, but they're
Okay.
over on the other side of the room and they're not talking to us. And then we wake up frustrated. Right. It's
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
them coming to let you know that they're okay. If you feel like it's them, it's them. Whether it looks like them, whether you really see them or not. If you wake up and go, "Oh, I feel like mom was in my dream last night." She was. Your subconscious got the message.
That's good to
Okay?
know because that has happened
Yeah.
lots. Yeah.
Exactly, which is why they want me to
Okay.
clear that up for you so that
Okay.
you know, right? And so that you know.
Yeah.
And what I find is helpful is just be like, okay, thank you. Spirit, can you please bring back the messages for me through the day? Because if we go and we try to remember our dreams, we're just going to block
Right.
ourselves, right? But
Right.
our
Yeah.
like I said, whether we remember them or not, our subconscious got the memo. But what I find is if we just release it, it pops in your head midday. Once you're distracted and doing something else, it's going to pop in.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so these are just their ways of wanting to validate your own experience, validate your own intuition, but more importantly, letting you know that they're okay. That they're
Okay.
okay. He goes, please tell her I wasn't afraid because she keeps envisioning me waking up and choking and not being able to get help. And he goes, I was asleep and then I was in heaven. And he goes, and that was that. Okay. Needing you to know that he was safe and that he was not fearful and that he did not suffer. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much,
Perfect.
Terri.
Thank you. Thank you very
You're
much.
welcome. I hope you enjoyed this latest episode of Messages from Spirit. Stick around to hear Terry's afterthoughts.
I was excited. I came in with a completely open mind. I had no idea what to expect, and the fact that it came in so strong was quite interesting, actually. I thought when she mentioned travel, it was a little later on in the conversation, but she mentioned about travel, and I thought, yes, that's bang on that would come through too, because I'm actually planning something very interesting in the spring, and I'm going to do a a a Camino in northern Spain. So it's going to be very spiritual for me. There was one thing that she said when my mother was coming through, and she said, "Who do you think's been helping her with her plan or her journey?" And the way that she said it was exactly, it sounded exactly like my mother. The tone of voice said everything. I don't know how that comes across, but I mean, she's so good, eh? I've been
Listen,
following her for some time, and it's just amazing every time it comes through. Like when she kept mentioning about, this is just validation or whatever, and it was just it kind of shocked me actually, just with the accuracy. And I thought, okay, it's clearly, I mean, people can't make this stuff up. I'm in Guelph in Ontario. So, and again, the reference she mentioned about Toronto, I mean, my sister's in Toronto, and I was just there like a couple of weeks before that. So it's interesting how that all sort of got tied into it. I thought, wow. I mean, there are times when there's a lot of sadness because you miss them as humans, we miss them and stuff. And for me in particular, it was my losing my son that really hit me very hard. It was a little different with my mother because she was in her early 80s and she had been ill. We'd had time to say our goodbyes and have that connectedness. Whereas with my son, it was sudden. He wasn't with me when it happened. And so, again, not having the chance to say goodbye. And that came through too. So yeah, there's the comfort and knowing that he's still with me. And Angela made a comment about, he's your number one angel now looking out for you. And it's funny she said it that way because I remember just after he passed, I started writing in a journal. And one of the things I put in there was, um, I was supposed to be looking after you, but now you're my angel looking after me. And so she said it the same way. And I was like, oh my God. I guess just, my comment, like I said at the beginning, there was nothing that she said that didn't make sense. Everything was bang on, just absolutely everything. So, I was really glad that I stumbled onto her. I was going to say probably about a year and a half ago now, maybe a couple of years. And so there's been a couple of times where, I've tried to book her for a personal reading when she opens the calendar up. But of course, I don't know if you're familiar with Ontario and camping in here, the province. It's like winning the lottery if you can get a camping site when you try to book it or something, right? So it's the same thing with Angela's personal bookings. So I thought when the opportunity came up for the Zoom reading, I thought, well, why not? I'm going to try for that because I would really like to experience it. Whether I get a reading or not, I would just be happy to be part of that. So I was, doubly pleased, of course. And afterwards, I liked listening to everybody else that got their readings as well, because, you can still pick up so much from it. And again, the validation and the comfort and seeing how it affects them. And, it was just a fabulous experience. I'm happy, I'm happy I made it in and grateful for Angela.
Thank you for joining me on this journey of connection and love. As we conclude another episode, I want to express my deepest gratitude to you. To be able to do this work, it is a profound privilege for me. I have learned so much through my connections with you in spirit. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of your spiritual journey. And thank you for being a part of mine. Remember, the connections with your departed loved ones are timeless and eternal. May the messages shared here bring you comfort, healing, and a renewed sense of hope. I'll leave that with you. May you walk in the light of love and know that you are always divinely connected. I am Angela McClellan, your host and medium, sending you light and love always.